The Louvre was quiet, its grand halls bathed in the soft glow of evening lights. Beyonce Giselle Knowles-Carter stood alone before a painting, her heels clicking faintly on the marble floor. The private tour was a rare escape, a moment to breathe away from the world's eyes. She adjusted her leather jacket, her gaze tracing the delicate brushstrokes of a Renaissance masterpiece, a Madonna cradling her child, the colors vivid yet haunting. Something about it felt off, like a whisper she couldn't quite hear. She tilted her head, her braids brushing her shoulder. The plaque said it was a Bellini, but the signature was wrong, too sharp, too modern. She leaned closer, her breath catching. There, in the shadow of the Madonna's robe, was a tiny, deliberate mark, a series of lines that didn't belong. Numbers, maybe letters, scratched into the paint like a secret begging to be found. Her pulse quickened. This wasn't an accident. This was a message. Beyonce stepped back, her mind racing. She'd seen enough in her life to know when something was hidden in plain sight. The Louvre didn't just let mistakes slip through. She pulled out her phone, snapping a photo, the flash glinting off the canvas. The hall felt heavier now, the silence too thick. She glanced around, half expecting someone to step out of the shadows. Nobody did. Not yet. The tour guide's voice broke her trance. Elie Dupont, a Parisian art historian with sharp cheekbones and sharper eyes, appeared at her side. Ellie's accent was crisp, her smile practiced. "Miss Knowles-Carter, are you ready to move on? The Mona Lisa waits." Beyonce slipped her phone into her pocket, her expression cool. "Ellie, this painting. It's got something weird going on. You see that mark in the corner?" She pointed, her voice low, testing the waters. Ellie's smile flickered, just for a second. She leaned in, her glasses catching the light. "A mark? Oh, probably a restorer's note. Old paintings are full of quirks." Her tone was smooth, but her fingers twitched, betraying a hint of nerves. Beyonce noticed. She always noticed. "Quirks don't look like codes," Beyonce said, her voice playful but firm. "Come on, Ellie. You're the expert. What's it saying?" Ellie straightened, her eyes darting to the painting, then back to Beyonce. "I'd need more time to study it. But if you're curious, there's a place nearby, a gallery off the books. People there know things the Louvre doesn't advertise." She hesitated, then added, "It's not exactly safe, though." Beyonce's lips curved into a half-smile. Safe wasn't her style. "Lead the way, Ellie. I'm not here for the tourist traps." The night air hit them as they stepped out of the Louvre, Paris sprawling before them like a canvas of lights and secrets. Beyonce pulled her jacket tighter, her boots clicking on the cobblestones. Ellie led her through narrow alleys, the kind where the city's pulse felt raw, alive. The gallery was a nondescript door tucked between a wine shop and a crumbling bookstore, its sign faded to nothing. Ellie knocked twice, then once more. A slot slid open, eyes peering out, and the door creaked wide. Inside, the air smelled of dust and oil paint. Canvases leaned against walls, some half-finished, others glowing under dim lamps. A handful of people milled about, their whispers sharp with purpose. Beyonce felt the weight of their glances, but she kept her chin high. She wasn't just anyone, and they knew it. Ellie guided her to a corner where an old man sat, his hands stained with paint, his eyes like slits. "This is Marcel," Ellie said. "He knows the art world's underbelly." Marcel looked Beyonce up and down, his voice gravelly. "You're trouble, aren't you? What's this about a mark?" Beyonce showed him the photo, zooming in on the cryptic lines. Marcel's face changed, his jaw tightening. "Where'd you find this?" he asked, his tone sharp. "Louvre. Bellini painting. You know what it is." Beyonce leaned in, her voice steady but laced with curiosity. Marcel glanced at Ellie, then back at the phone. "It's a cipher. Old one. Points to something dangerous. Something that could burn the art world to ash." He paused, his eyes narrowing. "You sure you want to chase this, superstar? People die for less." Beyonce's heart skipped, but she didn't flinch. I'm not scared of a little fire, Marcel. Tell me more. Before Marcel could answer, the door slammed open. A man stormed in, his coat flapping, his face half hidden by a scarf. The room froze, whispers dying. He scanned the crowd, his gaze locking on Beyonce. Ellie grabbed her arm, her voice a hiss. We need to go. Now. Beyonce didn't argue. They slipped through a back door, the alley outside damp and cold. Her pulse pounded, but her mind was sharp. Who was that, Ellie? And don't give me some vague art world nonsense. Ellie's face was pale, her voice low. Someone who shouldn't know you're here. That cipher? It's tied to a secret people killed to keep. You're in deep now, Beyonce. They ducked into another alley, the city's hum drowning out their steps. Beyonce's phone buzzed, a text from Sophia, her assistant, who was waiting at the hotel. Where are you? Trouble's brewing online. Call me. Beyonce ignored it for now. The cipher was real, and she was hooked. Ellie stopped, her breath uneven. There's a woman, Claire Moreau. She might know what the cipher means. But finding her won't be easy. She's a ghost in this world. Beyonce nodded, her mind already turning. Then we hunt ghosts. Where do we start? Ellie's eyes flickered with something unreadable, fear or maybe something darker. Tomorrow. Meet me at the Seine at dawn. And Beyonce? Don't tell anyone what you found. Not even Sophia. The words hung heavy as Ellie vanished into the night. Beyonce stood alone, the cipher's image burning in her mind. She didn't know who to trust, not Ellie, not Marcel, maybe not even herself. But one thing was clear, this was bigger than a painting. And she was all in. Somewhere in the shadows, a figure watched, their phone glowing with a photo of Beyonce leaving the gallery. The game had begun. The Seine glittered under the pre-dawn sky, its surface a mirror for Paris's restless pulse. Beyonce stood at the river's edge, her breath fogging in the chilly air. She'd barely slept, the cipher's jagged lines haunting her thoughts. Her boots scuffed the damp stone path, her leather jacket zipped tight against the breeze. Sophia's text from last night still nagged at her, something about trouble online, but she'd deal with that later. Right now, the game was here, in the city's shadows, and she wasn't backing down. Ellie Dupont appeared from the mist, her coat flapping like a warning flag. Her glasses glinted, her face taut with something Beyonce couldn't quite read. You came, Ellie said, her voice low, almost surprised. I wasn't sure you would. Beyonce's lips quirked. You think I'd run from a little mystery, Ellie? Come on. What's the plan? Ellie glanced over her shoulder, her eyes scanning the empty path. We need to decode that cipher. Marcel sent me a lead last night. There's a gallery, off the grid, in the Marais. It's where people trade secrets, not just art. The cipher might point there. Beyonce nodded, her pulse quickening. And Claire Moreau? You said she's key. Ellie's jaw tightened. Claire's a restorer, one of the best. If anyone knows what that cipher hides, it's her. But she's paranoid, moves like a ghost. We'll need to dig to find her. She hesitated, then added, and we need to move fast. That guy at the gallery last night? He's not working alone. Beyonce's mind flashed to the man in the scarf, his eyes locking on her like a predator. She pushed the thought down. Then let's not waste time. Lead the way. The Marais was a maze of narrow streets, old stone buildings leaning into each other like they shared secrets. The gallery was a squat, unmarked building, its windows boarded up, the kind of place you'd walk past without a second glance. Ellie knocked in a sharp rhythm, and the door cracked open. A woman with a buzz cut and a cigarette dangling from her lips eyed them, then waved them in. Inside, the air was thick with the smell of turpentine and stale wine. Paintings lined the walls, some half covered in tarps, others glowing under flickering lights. A dozen people milled about, their voices a low hum of deals and distrust. Beyonce felt the weight of their stares, but she kept her head high, her presence commanding the room. She wasn't here to blend in. Ellie led her to a back room, where a table was littered with sketches and old books. Marcel said the ciphers tied to a specific painting, maybe not the Bellini itself, but something connected. We need to match those lines to a pattern. She pulled out a notebook, sketching the cipher from memory, its jagged shapes like a broken code. Beyonce studied it, her mind turning. It's not just numbers or letters. It's a map, isn't it? Like coordinates, pointing somewhere. Ellie's eyes widened, a spark of respect flashing. Maybe. If it's a map, it's coded to hide the real location. We need a key, something in this gallery. Before they could dig deeper, the door swung open. A man sauntered in, his grin too sharp, his eyes too curious. He was American, mid-30s, with a leather jacket and a notebook tucked under his arm. "Well, damn," he said, his voice dripping with charm. "Beyonce Knowles Carter, in a place like this?" "I'm Jake Mercer, journalist. Mind if I join the party?" Beyonce's guard went up, but she kept her tone light. "Jake, huh? You got a habit of crashing private meetings?" Jake laughed, unfazed. "Only the good ones. Word is, you're chasing something big. A cipher, maybe? I've been tracking a story about the art world's dirty secrets. Sounds like we're after the same thing." Ellie's voice was ice. "We don't need a tag-along, Mercer. This isn't your story." Jake's grin didn't waver. "Oh, Ellie, always so prickly. Look, I know things. That cipher? It's tied to a conspiracy, one that's got collectors and curators sweating. You want answers? I can help." Beyonce studied him, her instincts torn. Jake was trouble, but he might know something. "Talk, Jake. What's the cipher got to do with?" Jake leaned in, his voice dropping. "It's a key to a lost masterpiece, one the art world's been hiding for centuries. People have killed to keep it buried. You're stirring up a hornet's nest, superstar." Before Beyonce could press him, a crash echoed from the main room. Shouts followed, then the sound of glass shattering. Ellie grabbed her arm. "We're out of time. Move." They bolted through a side door, Jake trailing behind. The alley outside was dark, the air sharp with the scent of rain. Footsteps pounded behind them, too close. Beyonce's heart raced, but her mind stayed clear. She ducked behind a dumpster, pulling Ellie with her. Jake crouched nearby, his breath uneven. "Who's after us?" Beyonce hissed, her eyes on Ellie. Ellie's face was pale, her voice a whisper. "I don't know. But they know you have the cipher. We need to find Claire before they do." The footsteps faded, but the tension didn't. Beyonce's phone buzzed again, Sophia's name flashing. She ignored it, her focus on the moment. "Where's Claire, Ellie?" No more vague answers. Ellie swallowed, her eyes darting to Jake, then back to Beyonce. "There's a studio in Montmartre. Claire's been seen there, restoring old canvases. It's our best shot." Beyonce nodded, her resolve hardening. "Then we go to Montmartre. Jake, you're with us. But if you're playing games, you'll regret it." Jake's grin was back, but his eyes were serious. "No games, Beyonce. I want the truth as much as you do." They slipped through the alleys, the city's pulse thrumming around them. Beyonce's mind churned, the cipher's lines burned into her memory. Claire Moreau was the next step, but every move felt like stepping deeper into a trap. Ellie's nerves, Jake's ambition, the shadow of their pursuer, it all pressed against her, but she didn't falter. She'd faced bigger stages than this. As they reached the street, a figure lingered across the road, half hidden by a street lamp. Beyonce caught a glimpse of a scarf, the same one from the gallery. Her stomach twisted. Whoever they weren't giving up. And the name Claire Moreau was starting to feel like a fuse, ready to ignite. Thank you for listening to these incredible stories. Our team would really appreciate it if you give us a like and comment. Your opinion is very important to us. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed. Montmartre buzzed with life, its crooked streets alive with artists and tourists, the air thick with the scent of fresh paint and warm bread. Beyonce moved through the crowd, her hood up, her eyes sharp. The morning sun cast long shadows, but she felt exposed, the memory of the scarf-wearing figure from the Marais still prickling her skin. Ellie DuPont walked beside her, tense, her glasses slipping down her nose. Jake Mercer trailed a few steps behind, his notebook clutched like a shield, his grin replaced by a wary edge. Sofia Alvarez, Beyoncé's assistant, had joined them, her presence a spark of warmth in the growing chill of the chase. Sofia's quick wit and fierce loyalty were a lifeline, but Beyoncé hadn't told her about the cipher. Not yet. The studio was a crumbling building tucked behind a cafe, its windows smudged with years of neglect. Ellie knocked, her knuckles hesitant. "Claire Moreau works here," she said, her voice low. "If she's in, we need to be careful. She doesn't trust easily." Beyoncé nodded, her pulse steady but quick. "Let's just hope she's got answers, Ellie. I'm tired of chasing ghosts." The door creaked open, revealing a woman in her 50s, her hands stained with paint, her gray hair pulled into a messy bun. Claire Moreau's eyes were sharp, like she could see through them all. "What do you want?" she asked, her French accent thick, her tone clipped. "Claire, I'm Beyonce Knowles Carter," Beyoncé said, stepping forward, her voice calm but firm. "We need to talk about a cipher. One tied to a Bellini painting in the Louvre." Claire's face hardened, her hand gripping the doorframe. "I don't know what you're talking about. Leave. Now." Ellie stepped in, her voice urgent. "Claire, please. The cipher's real. We've seen it. You know what it means, don't you?" Claire's eyes flicked to Ellie, then to Jake and Sophia, lingering on each like she was measuring their threat. "You're bringing trouble to my door," she said, her voice low. "You don't know what you're meddling with." Sophia, ever the spark, flashed a grin. "Come on, Claire. We're not here to mess up your vibe. Just give us a hint, and we're gone." Claire's lips twitched, a ghost of a smile, but her eyes stayed cold. She sighed, stepping back. 5 minutes. That's all you get." Inside, the studio was a chaos of canvases and tools, the air heavy with turpentine. Half-restored paintings leaned against walls, their colors vivid but fragile. Claire gestured to a table cluttered with brushes and rags. "Show me this cipher," she said, her tone grudging. Beyoncé pulled out her phone, the photo of the Bellini's mark glowing on the screen. Claire studied it, her breath catching. "Where did you find this?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. "Louvre," Beyoncé said. "Hidden in the painting. Marcel said it's dangerous. Said it could burn the art world down." Claire's hands trembled, but she steadied them, her eyes distant. "He's not wrong. This cipher, it's part of a puzzle. A map to a masterpiece, one the world thinks is lost. But it's more than art. It's a secret, one powerful people have killed to keep." Beyoncé leaned in, her voice soft but pressing. "What kind of secret, Claire? And why is it worth killing for?" Claire's gaze darted to the window, her voice dropping. "It's tied to a truth about art history, about who controls it, who's been erased. The painting it leads to, it's proof of something bigger. A lie the art world's built on." Jake, silent until now, spoke up, his voice sharp. "What lie, Claire? Names, dates, give us something we can use." Claire's eyes flashed with anger. "You think it's that simple, Mercer? You're a vulture, chasing a story. This isn't just a scoop. People I cared about died for this." The room went quiet, the weight of her words sinking in. Beyoncé's heart twisted, but she kept her focus. "Claire, I'm not here to exploit anyone. But I need to know what I'm up against. Help us." Claire hesitated, then pulled a small sketchbook from a drawer. She flipped to a page, revealing a drawing of a symbol, a twisted knot that matched part of the cipher. "This is a piece of it," she said. "It points to a place, a crypt under Paris. But you won't find it without the rest of the map." Before she could say more, a loud thud echoed outside. Glass shattered, and footsteps crunched on gravel. Sophia's eyes widened. "That's not tourists," she said, her voice tight. Claire's face paled. "They found you. Go, through the back." Beyonce grabbed the sketchbook, her mind racing. "Claire, come with us." Claire shook her head, her voice fierce. "I'm done running. Get out, now." Sophia was already at the back door, yanking it open. "Move, y'all," she shouted, her humor gone. Beyonce, Ellie, and Jake followed, plunging into a narrow alley. The air was damp, the walls slick with moss. Behind them, shouts erupted, followed by the sound of wood splintering. They ran, twisting through Montmartre's alleys, the city's charm now a labyrinth. Beyonce's breath burned, but her mind was clear. Claire's words echoed, the cipher's stakes growing heavier. A secret worth killing for. A lie the art world lived on. Sophia, panting, glanced back. "Who the hell's after us, bae? This ain't just some art nerd beef." Beyonce's jaw tightened. "I don't know, Sophia. But we're not stopping till we do." They ducked into a crowded square, blending with the morning bustle. Ellie's face was grim, her glasses fogged with sweat. "Claire's in danger," she said. "We need to find that crypt before they get to her." Jake's voice was low, his eyes scanning the crowd. "She gave us a piece of the puzzle, but she's holding back. That crypt's real, but there's more she didn't say." Beyonce clutched the sketchbook, its pages rough against her fingers. The symbol stared back, a knot of secrets. Claire had risked everything to share it, but now she was gone, maybe caught, maybe worse. The thought stung, but Beyonce pushed it down. She'd find her. She'd find the truth. As they slipped into a cafe to catch their breath, Beyonce's phone buzzed. A message, no sender. Just a photo of Claire's studio, now empty, and a single line, "Stop now, or you're next." Her stomach twisted, but her resolve hardened. The cipher was afire, and she was ready to burn. Across the square, a figure slipped into the crowd, a coded note tucked in their pocket. Claire was gone, but her secret was alive, and the chase was far from over. The cafe in Montmartre hummed with chatter, the clink of cups a thin shield against the storm brewing in Beyonce's mind. She sat in a corner booth, the sketchbook from Claire Moreau's studio open before her. The knotted symbol stared back, taunting, its lines a puzzle she couldn't yet crack. Her phone sat face down, the anonymous threat, "Stop now, or you're next," still burning in her thoughts. She hadn't told the others about it. Not Ellie DuPont, whose nervous glances kept darting to the door. Not Jake Mercer, whose journalist instincts made him too hungry for her secrets. Not even Sofia Alvarez, whose worried frown was starting to feel like a mirror of Beyonce's own doubts. The cipher was her burden, and she carried it alone. Sophia leaned across the table, her voice low. "Bae, you okay? You're staring at that sketch like it's gonna bite you." Beyonce forced a smile, her fingers tracing the symbol. "I'm good, Sophia. Just trying to figure out what Claire left us. This thing's a map, but we're missing half the pieces." Ellie adjusted her glasses, her voice tight. "We need to keep moving. Whoever trashed Claire's studio, they're not playing. We can't stay here long." Jake, slouched in his chair, smirked. "Relax, Ellie. Nobody's storming a cafe in broad daylight. Besides, I got a lead. Name's Vincent Roche. Big-time art collector, owns half the private galleries in Paris. Word is, he's got a painting that matches your cipher's vibe. Might be the Bellini's twin." Beyonce's eyes narrowed. "How do you know this, Jake? And why is this the first we're hearing it?" Jake's grin didn't waver, but his eyes flicked away. "I've got sources, superstar. Vincent's name came up when I was digging into the art world's shadier deals. He's hosting a private event tonight. If we want answers, we crash it." Ellie's face paled. "Vincent Roche? He's dangerous, Jake. Not just rich, but connected. The kind of man who makes problems disappear. Beyonce leaned back, her mind turning. Danger was nothing new. She'd faced worse than a slick collector. If Vincent's got the painting, we're going. Ellie, you know him? Ellie hesitated, her fingers twisting a napkin. Not personally. But I've heard stories. He's charming, ruthless. If he's involved, the cipher's stakes are higher than we thought. Sophia raised an eyebrow. So, what? We just waltz into his fancy party. Bae, you're famous. People will notice. Beyonce's lips curved, a spark of defiance in her eyes. Let him notice. Sometimes being seen is the best cover. Get me a dress, Sophia. We're doing this. That night, Paris glittered like a promise. Vincent Roche's mansion loomed on the city's edge, all marble and glass, its lights spilling onto manicured lawns. Beyonce stepped out of the car, her black gown hugging her curves, her braids swept into an elegant knot. She was a vision, but her eyes were steel. Sophia, in a sleek red dress, stuck close, her humor a quiet anchor. Ellie and Jake followed, both out of place in their borrowed finery, their tension palpable. The ballroom was a sea of wealth, chandeliers casting golden light over silk suits and diamond necklaces. Vincent Roche stood at the center, mid-40s, his dark hair slicked back, his smile sharp as a blade. He moved through the crowd like he owned it, his voice smooth, his eyes catching Beyonce's the moment she entered. Well, Vincent said, approaching, a glass of champagne in hand. Beyonce Knowles Carter, gracing my humble home. I'm Vincent Roche. To what do I owe the honor? Beyonce matched his smile, her voice honeyed but firm. Just here for the art, Vincent. Heard you've got a collection worth seeing. Vincent's eyes gleamed, like he knew more than he let on. Oh, I do. But art's more than beauty, isn't it? It's power. Secrets. Care to see my private gallery? Her pulse quickened, but she kept her cool. Lead the way. He guided them through a locked door, down a spiral staircase to a vault-like room. Paintings lined the walls, each a masterpiece, but one caught her eye, a Madonna, eerily similar to the Louvre's Bellini, its colors vibrant, its frame heavy with age. Beyonce's breath hitched. The cipher's twin. Vincent watched her, his voice low. You recognize it, don't you? This painting's special. But it comes with a price. Loyalty, perhaps. Information. Beyonce's jaw tightened. I'm not here to trade favors, Vincent. What do you know about it? He stepped closer, his charm turning cold. I know you're chasing a cipher. I know it's dangerous. Join me, Beyonce. I can protect you. Or you can keep running, and see how far you get. Ellie's voice cut through, sharp. She's not alone, Roche. Back off. Vincent's smile didn't falter, but his eyes darkened. Ellie DuPont. I wondered when you'd show your face. You've got your own secrets, don't you? Beyonce's stomach twisted. Ellie's past, whatever it was starting to feel like a liability. What's he talking about, Ellie? She asked, her voice low. Ellie's face was stone, but her eyes betrayed fear. Nothing. He's trying to rattle us. Sophia, sensing the tension, stepped in, her voice light. Okay, let's not start a soap opera. Vincent, nice place, but we're good. Thanks for the tour. Vincent laughed, but it was hollow. You're in deep, Beyonce. That painting? It's the key to everything. But it's not here. Not anymore. Beyonce's heart sank, but she didn't show it. Where is it? Vincent's smile was a knife. Find Claire Moreau. She knows. But be careful. The people chasing you? They're closer than you think. He turned, dismissing them, his shadow long as he walked away. Beyonce's mind raced. The painting was gone, but Vincent's words lingered. Claire was the key, but Ellie's secrets were a problem. And someone was watching, always one step ahead. Outside, the night air was sharp. Sophia grabbed Beyonce's arm, her voice urgent. "Bae, what's going on? Ellie's hiding something, and Jake's too quiet. You sure about this crew?" Beyonce's eyes flicked to Ellie, who was staring at the ground, and Jake, who was scribbling in his notebook. "I'm not sure about anything, Sophia. But we're not stopping. That painting's out there, and I'm finding it." As they slipped into the car, Beyonce caught a glimpse of a figure in the mansion's window, Vincent's silhouette, his phone pressed to his ear. Her phone buzzed, another anonymous message, "The twin is closer than you think." Her grip tightened. The game was tightening, and trust was slipping away. The Paris night pressed against the car windows, a blur of neon and shadow as Beyonce stared at her phone. The anonymous message, "The twin is closer than you think," sat like a weight in her chest. She hadn't shared it with the others, not after Vincent Roche's cryptic jab at Ellie DuPont's secrets. Trust was fraying, and Beyonce felt it unraveling in the cramped back seat. Sofia Alvarez sat beside her, scrolling through her phone, her usual spark dimmed by worry. Ellie stared out the window, her glasses reflecting streetlights, her silence louder than words. Jake Mercer, in the front, tapped his notebook, his journalist's calm barely masking his hunger for the story. Beyonce's mind churned. Vincent's mansion had been a trap, not for her body but for her doubts. His words about Ellie, about the twin painting, about Claire Moreau, they were bait, and she'd bitten. The cipher's knotted symbol, tucked in Claire's sketchbook, was her only anchor, but it wasn't enough. She needed answers, not more riddles. Sophia broke the silence, her voice soft. "Bae, you're too quiet. What's going on in that head of yours?" Beyonce forced a half-smile, her fingers brushing the sketchbook. "Just piecing it together, Sophia. Vincent's playing games, and I'm not sure who's on our team." Ellie's head snapped around, her voice sharp. "What's that supposed to mean, Beyonce? You think I'm hiding something?" Beyonce met her gaze, her tone steady but pointed. "Vincent knew you, Ellie. Not just your name, but your past. You want to tell me what that was about?" Ellie's jaw tightened, her eyes flickering with something, fear, maybe guilt. "He's a liar, Beyonce. He twists things to get what he wants. I've crossed paths with his kind before, that's all." "That's all?" Jake chimed in, his grin sharp. "Come on, Ellie. You're shaking like a leaf. Spill it. What's Roche got on you?" Ellie's voice rose, brittle. "Nothing. I'm here to help, not to be interrogated. You're the one chasing headlines, Mercer. Maybe you're the one we should watch." Beyonce raised a hand, her voice cutting through. "Enough. We're not falling apart here. Ellie, if you've got history, I need to know. Not for me, for us. We're being hunted, and I'm not losing anyone." Ellie's shoulders sagged, her voice barely audible. "I worked for someone like Vincent years ago. A collector. Things went bad, people got hurt. I walked away, but the art world doesn't forget. That's it." Beyonce studied her, not fully convinced but unwilling to push harder. "Not yet. All right, Ellie. But no more surprises. We clear?" Ellie nodded, her eyes on the floor. Sophia, sensing the tension, nudged Beyonce. "We're still good, right? I mean, we've got this sketchbook, a creepy collector, and a missing painting. That's a vibe." Beyonce chuckled, the sound easing the knot in her chest. "Yeah, Sophia. A whole vibe. Let's focus. Vincent said Claire knows where the twin painting is. We need to find her." Jake leaned back, his voice low. "I've got a hunch. That crypt Claire mentioned, it's not just a hideout. I dug into some old records last night. There's a secret society, been around since the Renaissance, tied to protecting art. Or hiding it. The cipher might be their work." Beyonce's pulse quickened. "A society? You're saying we're up against some ancient art cult?" Jake's grin was grim. "Something like that. They've got reach, money, and a knack for making people disappear. Claire's probably one of them, or running from them. Ellie's voice was tight. That's speculation, Jake. We need facts, not conspiracy theories. Beyonce ignored the jab, her mind racing. A secret society fit the pieces, the cipher, the threats, Claire's fear. But it also meant they were in deeper than she'd thought. Where's this crypt, Jake? If Claire's tied to it, that's our next move. Jake hesitated, his eyes flicking to Ellie. I've got a contact, a curator who knows Paris's underbelly. She'll meet us at midnight, near Notre Dame. But it's risky. If this society's real, they'll be watching. Sophia groaned. Midnight? Y'all, I need coffee and a nap before we go full Indiana Jones. Beyonce's lips twitched, but her focus stayed sharp. Midnight it is. Till then, we lay low. No phones, no social media. Whoever's after us, they're too close. The day crawled by, the group holed up in a cheap hotel, the kind where nobody asked questions. Beyonce pored over the sketchbook, the knotted symbol mocking her. She felt the weight of eyes, even here, in the peeling wallpaper and creaky floors. Sophia napped, Ellie read, and Jake scribbled notes, but the air was thick with unspoken doubts. Midnight came, and Notre Dame loomed in the dark, its spire gone but its presence heavy. The Seine lapped nearby, the city's pulse a low hum. Beyonce's boots crunched on gravel as they approached a shadowed archway, Jake's contact waiting. She was a woman in her 60s, her face lined, her eyes sharp. You're late, she said, her voice a rasp. I'm Marie. Show me the cipher. Beyonce handed over the sketchbook, her instincts on edge. Marie studied it, her lips thinning. This is theirs. The Order of the Veil. They've guarded secrets for centuries. This symbol points to a crypt, but you'll need more than this to find it. Before Beyonce could ask, a car screeched nearby, headlights slicing the dark. Marie's eyes widened. Run, she hissed, shoving the sketchbook back. Beyonce grabbed Sophia, pulling her into an alley. Ellie and Jake copy-paste, the air thick with chaos. A van roared toward them, its engine a snarl. Beyonce's heart pounded, her legs burning as she sprinted, Sophia's hand in hers. Gunshots cracked, bullets biting the stone wall. Ellie stumbled, but Jake yanked her forward, his face grim. They ducked behind a dumpster, the van's tires squealing as it vanished. Beyonce's chest heaved, her mind racing. The Order of the Veil. The cipher. Claire. Someone had betrayed them, and the trap was closing fast. The alley reeked of damp stone and fear, the echo of gunshots still ringing in Beyonce's ears. She crouched behind the dumpster, her breath ragged, Sofia Alvarez pressed close, her eyes wide but steady. Ellie DuPont clutched her arm, her glasses askew, her face pale as moonlight. Jake Mercer, for once, wasn't grinning, his notebook stuffed into his jacket, his jaw tight. The van's roar had faded, but the threat lingered, a shadow stitched into Paris's seams. Beyonce's mind raced, replaying Marie's words, the Order of the Veil. A secret society, centuries old, guarding the cipher's truth. And now they were hunting her. Sophia's voice broke the silence, a whisper laced with her usual spark. Okay, bae, I'm all for adventure, but getting shot at? Not my aesthetic. Beyonce's lips twitched, a flicker of warmth cutting through the tension. Not mine either, Sophia. But we're in this now. No turning back. Ellie's voice was shaky, her eyes darting to the alley's mouth. That was no random hit. They knew we'd be here. Someone tipped them off. Jake's gaze flicked to Ellie, sharp. You sure it wasn't you, DuPont? You've been jumpy since Vincent called you out. Ellie's face flushed, her voice rising. Don't start, Mercer. I'm not the one chasing a Pulitzer by sticking my nose in dangerous places. Beyonce raised a hand, her tone firm. Stop it, both of you. Fighting won't help. Marie said the cipher points to a crypt, but we need more. Jake, you got anything else from your contacts? Jake hesitated, then nodded. Before the chaos, Maurice slipped me a name. Underground auction, tonight, in the catacombs. The twin painting, the one Vincent teased us about, it's supposedly up for grabs. If we get in, we might find it, or at least someone who knows where Claire Moreau is. Beyonce's pulse quickened. The catacombs. Paris's bone-filled underbelly, a perfect hideout for secrets. How do we get in? That's not exactly an open house. Jake's grin crept back, sly. Marie gave me a passphrase. But it's high stakes, Beyonce. Collectors, criminals, maybe even the Order. You'll need to blend in, and that's tough when you're, well, you. Sophia snorted, her humor a lifeline. Blend in? Bay's a whole spotlight. But I've got this. I'll pull some looks, make us look like we belong in a den of art thieves. Beyonce nodded, her resolve hardening. Do it, Sophia. We're crashing that auction. But we stay sharp. No one's getting the drop on us again. Hours later, the catacombs entrance loomed, a nondescript grate in a forgotten alley. Beyonce wore a tailored black suit, her braids tucked under a fedora, her eyes hidden behind tinted glasses. Sophia, in a sleek emerald dress, looked like she'd stepped off a runway. Ellie, in a muted gray coat, seemed to shrink into herself, her nerves raw. Jake, in a borrowed tux, carried his usual swagger, but his eyes scanned every shadow. They descended, the air growing cold and heavy, the walls lined with skulls and femurs, their hollow gazes a silent warning. The tunnel opened into a cavern, lit by flickering torches. A crowd of maybe 30 milled about, their faces half-masked, their voices a low hum of greed and secrecy. A platform held a single painting, covered by a velvet cloth. Beyonce's heart skipped. Could it be the twin? A man in a crimson mask stepped forward, his voice smooth. Welcome, friends. Tonight, we offer a rare gem. Bidding starts at 5 million euros. Beyonce leaned toward Ellie, her voice a whisper. That's it, isn't it? The twin painting. Ellie's eyes were wide, her voice barely audible. Maybe. But something's off. The frame, it's not right. Before Beyonce could press her, a woman brushed past, her perfume sharp, her mask glittering with gold. She paused, her gaze locking on Beyonce. You don't belong here, she murmured, her accent unplaceable. Leave, before it's too late. Beyonce's stomach twisted, but she kept her cool. I'm exactly where I need to be. You know something about that painting? The woman's lips curved, a half-smile. More than you. But you're not ready for the truth. She slipped into the crowd, gone before Beyonce could follow. The auction began, bids climbing fast. Beyonce watched, her mind racing. The painting was key, but the woman's warning, Ellie's doubt, it all gnawed at her. She nudged Jake. We need to see it up close. Cause a distraction. Jake's eyes lit up, his grin wicked. My specialty. He slipped away, and moments later, a tray of champagne glasses crashed, drawing gasps and curses. The crowd turned, and Beyonce moved, weaving toward the platform. She reached the painting, her fingers brushing the cloth. She lifted it, just enough to see. A Madonna, like the Bellini, but the colors were wrong, too bright, the brushstrokes too clean. A fake. Her heart sank, but before she could process it, a hand grabbed her wrist. You're bold, a man's voice hissed. She turned, facing a tall figure in a black mask, his grip iron. But you're out of your depth, Knowles Carter. Beyonce yanked free, her voice low. You know my name. Who are you? He laughed, cold. Someone who knows the Order doesn't play. That painting's a decoy. The real one's gone. Find Claire, or you're next. He vanished into the crowd as security closed in. Beyonce slipped back to Sophia and Ellie, her pulse pounding. It's a fake, she whispered. We need to go. Now. They fled, the catacombs tunnels swallowing their steps. Outside, the night air hit like a slap. Sophia panted, her voice sharp. Bae, what the hell? A fake? And that guy knew you? Beyonce's jaw tightened, the man's words echoing. Find Claire, or you're next. Yeah, Sophia. Someone's always one step ahead. But we're not done. Ellie's voice was brittle. The order's toying with us. That auction was a trap, meant to draw us out. Jake, catching his breath, nodded. And it worked. But I heard a name in the crowd. A bidder, someone who bought the fake. If we track them, we might find Claire. Beyonce's eyes burned with determination. The cipher, the twin, the order, it was all slipping through her fingers. But she wasn't giving up. Claire was out there, and the truth was too. As they vanished into the city, a figure watched from the shadows, their phone glowing with a new bid, the real painting, sold to an unknown buyer. The Paris dawn was gray, smudging the city's edges as Beyonce leaned against a rusted railing by the Seine. Her eyes burned from lack of sleep, the catacombs chill still clinging to her skin. The fake painting at the auction had been a slap, a reminder that the Order of the Veil was playing chess while she was stuck at checkers. Claire Moreau's sketchbook, tucked in her jacket, felt heavier now, its knotted symbol a taunt. Sofia Alvarez sat on a nearby bench, her emerald dress swapped for jeans, her humor muted by the night's chaos. Ellie DuPont paced, her glasses fogged, her nerves a live wire. Jake Mercer stood apart, his notebook open, his eyes darting like he was chasing a lead in his head. Beyonce's phone buzzed, another anonymous text, "You're chasing shadows. The truth is closer." She deleted it, her jaw tight. The messages were piling up, each one a needle under her skin. She hadn't told the others, not after the auction's trap. Trust was a cracked glass, and she wasn't sure who'd break it first. Sophia's voice cut through, soft but firm. "Bae, you're doing that thing where you go all quiet and intense. Talk to us. What's next?" Beyonce exhaled, her breath clouding in the cold. "We got played last night, Sophia. That fake painting was a distraction, but Jake heard a name. A bidder. We track them, we might find Claire or the real twin painting." Ellie stopped pacing, her voice sharp. "And what if it's another trap? The order's always ahead, Beyonce. We're running blind." Jake's grin flashed, but it was brittle. "Not blind, Ellie. I've got a lead. The bidder's linked to Vincent Roche. He's not just a collector, he's a broker for the order. I say we hit his office, see what he's hiding." Beyonce's stomach twisted. Vincent again. His suave threats at the mansion, his jab at Ellie's past, they lingered like smoke. "You sure about this, Jake? Vincent's not some amateur. If he's with the order, he'll see us coming." Jake's eyes met hers, a flicker of something, ambition, maybe desperation. "I'm sure. I've been tracking his deals for months. His office is in the 8th arrondissement, low security at night. We go now, we might catch him off guard." Ellie's voice was ice. "Or we walk into another ambush." "Jake, you're too eager. What's in this for you?" Jake's grin faded, his tone hard. "The truth, Ellie. Same as you. Or are you still hiding something from that collector you worked for?" Beyonce stepped between them, her voice low. "Enough. We're going to Vincent's office. But we do this smart. Sophia, you're on lookout. Ellie, you're with me. Jake, you lead, but if this goes south, it's on you." The 8th arrondissement glittered, its wide boulevards lined with wealth. Vincent's office was a sleek glass building, its lobby dark at this hour. Jake picked the lock with a practiced ease that made Beyonce's skin prickle. Inside, the air was sterile, the walls lined with abstract art that felt soulless. They moved fast, splitting up to search. Beyonce and Ellie hit Vincent's private office, a room of polished wood and locked drawers. Beyonce rifled through files, her fingers brushing contracts, invoices, names she didn't recognize. Then, a photo slipped out, dog-eared and old. A younger Ellie, standing beside a man with Vincent's sharp smile. Her heart sank. "Ellie," Beyonce said, holding up the photo, her voice steady but cold. "You said you didn't know Vincent personally. Explain this." Ellie's face crumpled, her voice a whisper. "It's not what you think, Beyonce. That was years ago. I worked for his mentor, a collector. Vincent was around, but I didn't know him like that. I swear." Beyonce's eyes narrowed, the photo heavy in her hand. "You keep saying you're done with that world, but it keeps pulling you back. What aren't you telling me?" Before Ellie could answer, a shout echoed from the hall. Sophia's voice, urgent. "Guys, we've got company." Beyonce stuffed the photo in her pocket, her pulse spiking. They ran, finding Sophia by the stairs, her eyes wide. "Security's coming. Jake's gone, Bay." He bolted. Beyonce's blood ran cold. "What do you mean, gone?" Sophia's voice was tight. "I saw him slip out the back. He didn't say a word." They moved, ducking through a service exit into an alley. The night air hit hard, but Beyonce's mind was sharper, slicing through the betrayal. Jake had set them up, led them here, then vanished. But why? Her thoughts snagged on the photo, on Ellie's half-truths, on Vincent's games. Ellie grabbed her arm, her voice desperate. "Beyonce, I didn't know Jake would do this. You have to believe me." Beyonce shook her off, her voice low. "I don't know what to believe, Ellie. But we're not stopping. We need Claire, and we need that painting." Sophia's phone buzzed, a message from an unknown number. She showed it to Beyonce, her face grim. A grainy photo of the twin painting, the real one, its Madonna glowing under dim light. Below it, a single line, "Roche has it. Find him, or lose everything." Beyonce's heart pounded, but her resolve was iron. Jake's betrayal stung, but it wasn't the end. Vincent was the key now, and she'd tear his world apart to find him. As they slipped into the city's pulse, a figure watched from a rooftop, their silhouette sharp against the dawn. Ellie's sketchbook was gone, left behind in the chaos, and with it, the cipher's next clue. The Paris morning was raw, the air biting as Beyonce crouched in a shadowed doorway, her breath clouding in the chill. The sting of Jake Mercer's betrayal burned, his disappearance at Vincent Roche's office a fresh wound. Worse, Claire Moreau's sketchbook, with its knotted cipher, was gone, left behind in the chaos. Beyonce's hands itched for it, for the one piece of this puzzle she'd held close. Sofia Alvarez stood beside her, her jacket zipped tight, her usual spark dimmed but not snuffed out. Ellie DuPont lingered a few steps away, her glasses fogged, her silence heavy with guilt. The photo of her with Vincent's mentor, found in his office, sat like a stone in Beyonce's pocket. Trust was a ghost now, slipping through her fingers. Sophia's voice broke the quiet, low and warm. "Bae, you're doing that stare again. Like you're about to burn a hole through the wall. What's the plan?" Beyonce's lips twitched, Sophia's humor a faint light in the fog. "We're out of moves, Sophia. No sketchbook, no Jake, and Vincent's playing us like a damn fiddle. But that message, the one with the twin painting, it said Roche has it. We find him, we find the truth." Ellie's voice was brittle, her eyes on the ground. "Vincent's untouchable, Beyonce. His connections run deep, maybe even to the Order of the Veil. And without the sketchbook, we've got nothing." Beyonce's gaze sharpened, pinning Ellie. "We've got you, Ellie. You knew Vincent's mentor. You know how he thinks. Start talking, or we're done here." Ellie flinched, her hands twisting. "I told you, it was years ago. I was a researcher, not a player in their games. But Vincent, he's obsessed with control. If he has the twin painting, it's locked away somewhere only he can reach." Sophia raised an eyebrow, her tone dry. "Great. So we're chasing a ghost painting in a ghost vault. Love that for us." Beyonce's mind churned, the anonymous message replaying, "Roche has it. Find him, or lose everything." She pulled out her phone, the photo of the twin painting glowing. The Madonna's eyes seemed to follow her, hiding secrets in their depths. "There's a clue here," she said, almost to herself. "The background, those arches. They're not random. They're a place." Ellie leaned closer, her voice hesitant. "Arches like that, they're old, medieval. Could be a crypt, like Claire mentioned. Or a vault, somewhere forgotten." Beyonce's pulse quickened. A vault. Vincent's not keeping that painting in a gallery. It's hidden, somewhere the Order can't touch. We need to find it. Sophia's eyes lit up, her spark flickering back. "Okay, but how?" "We can't just Google secret art vault Paris. Or can we?" Beyonce's lips curved, a plan forming. "Not Google, but we've got a lead. Claire. She's still out there, and she knows more than she told us." "Ellie, you said she's a ghost. Where do ghosts hide?" Ellie's face softened, a memory surfacing. "There's a place, an old archive in the Latin Quarter. Restorers like Claire use it to study ancient techniques. It's off the grid, no cameras, no records. If she's hiding, that's where she'd go." Beyonce nodded, her resolve iron. "Then we're going. Now." The Latin Quarter buzzed with students and cigarette smoke, its narrow streets a tangle of history. The archive was a sagging building, its door unmarked, its windows dark. Beyonce pushed inside, the air thick with dust and the scent of old paper. Shelves towered, crammed with manuscripts and faded sketches. A single lamp glowed in the back, and there she was, Claire Moreau, her gray hair loose, her hands smudged with ink. Claire's eyes widened, her voice sharp. "You shouldn't be here, Knowles Carter. I told you to leave it alone." Beyonce stepped forward, her voice steady. "I'm not leaving, Claire. Vincent has the twin painting. You know where it is. Help us, or the Order wins." Claire's hands trembled, but her gaze was fierce. "You don't understand. The painting's not just art. It's proof of a truth the Order's buried for centuries. I lost someone to them, someone I loved. I won't lose more." Beyonce's heart twisted, Claire's pain a mirror to her own stakes. "I'm sorry, Claire. But we're in this together now. Tell me where the painting is." Claire hesitated, then pulled a map from a drawer, its edges worn. She pointed to a mark, a forgotten vault beneath a ruined chapel. "Here. Vincent's family owned it for generations. The painting's there, but it's guarded. And the cipher, you need it to open the vault." Beyonce's stomach sank. "The sketchbook's gone, Claire. We lost it." Claire's face paled, but she nodded. "Then you'll need this." She handed over a small key, its surface etched with the cipher's knot. "It's not the whole code, but it's a start. Get to the vault, but be careful. The Order's closer than you think." Before Beyonce could thank her, a crash echoed outside, metal on stone. Sophia's voice hissed, "Bay, we've got trouble." They bolted to the window, spotting a black van, its doors open, figures spilling out. Claire's voice was urgent. "Go, through the back. I'll hold them off." Beyonce grabbed the key, her mind racing. "Claire, come with us." Claire's smile was sad. "I'm done running. Save the painting, Beyonce. Save the truth." They fled, the archive's back door slamming behind them. The alley was a maze, but Sophia led, her instinct sharp. Ellie panted, her voice low. "The Order. They found us again." Beyonce's grip on the key tightened, Claire's sacrifice fueling her. The vault was real, the painting within reach. But the Order was closing in, and Jake's betrayal hinted at a deeper leak. As they vanished into the city, a figure slipped from the van, holding Claire's sketchbook. The cipher's knot glowed under a street lamp, and the vault's secret hung by a thread. The Latin Quarter's pulse faded as Beyonce slipped through a back alley, her boots splashing in puddles, the key from Claire Moreau clutched tight in her hand. Its etched knot, a piece of the cipher, burned in her mind, a fragile link to the twin painting hidden in Vincent Roche's vault. Claire's sacrifice, staying behind to face the Order of the Veil, was a fresh scar. Beyonce's chest ached, but she pushed it down, her focus razor-sharp. Sofia Alvarez moved beside her, her breath uneven, her humor buried under the weight of the chase. Ellie DuPont trailed, her glasses glinting in the dim light, her silence louder than ever. The Order's van, the stolen sketchbook, Jake Mercer's betrayal, it all pressed against Beyonce, a storm she couldn't outrun. Sofia's voice broke through, low and urgent. "Bae, we can't keep running like this. Claire's gone, Jake's a snake, and Ellie's acting like she's got a bomb strapped to her. What's the play?" Beyonce's jaw tightened, her eyes scanning the alley shadows. "The vault, Sofia. Claire gave us the key, pointed us to that chapel. The twin paintings there, and I'm not letting the Order get it first." Ellie's voice was thin, her hands twisting. "The Order's too close, Beyonce. They knew we were at the archive. Someone's feeding them our moves." Beyonce stopped, turning to face her, the photo of Ellie with Vincent's mentor heavy in her pocket. "You're right, Ellie. Someone's talking. And I'm starting to wonder if it's you." Ellie's face crumpled, her voice cracking. "Me? After everything, you think I'd sell you out? I've been with you every step, risking my life." Sofia stepped between them, her tone sharp. "Y'all, this ain't the time for a showdown. Bae, Ellie's been solid, but we need to deal with Jake. He's the one who ditched us at Vincent's." Beyonce's gaze didn't waver, her voice low. "Maybe. But Ellie, that photo, your past with Vincent's crew, it's not adding up. If you're holding back, now's the time to come clean." Ellie's eyes glistened, but she stood taller, her voice steady. "I told you, I worked for a collector. It ended badly, but I'm not with them. I swear, Beyonce, I'm here for the truth, same as you." Beyonce studied her, the key's weight grounding her. She wanted to believe Ellie, but doubt was a splinter she couldn't ignore. "All right. But no more secrets. We move for the vault, and we watch each other's backs." The chapel was a ruin on Paris's outskirts, its stones crumbling, its stained glass long gone. The air was thick with moss and memory, the kind of place secrets went to die. Beyonce led the way, the key in one hand, a flashlight in the other. The map Claire had shown them pointed to a vault beneath, but the entrance was hidden, a puzzle in itself. Sofia's voice was a whisper, her humor creeping back. "This place gives me the creeps, bae. Feels like we're about to meet a vampire or some old French ghost." Beyonce's lips twitched, but her focus stayed sharp. "Stay close, Sofia. Ghosts are the least of our problems." They found a trapdoor under a collapsed pew, its iron rusted but solid. The key fit, its knot aligning with a faint carving. The door groaned open, revealing a spiral staircase descending into darkness. Beyonce's pulse quickened, the air growing colder with each step. The vault was real, and the twin painting was close. At the bottom, a stone chamber opened, its walls etched with symbols matching the cipher's knot. A single pedestal stood in the center, empty. Beyonce's heart sank, but she scanned the room, her flashlight catching a glint. A small box, tucked in a corner, its surface carved with the same knot. She knelt, prying it open. Inside was a letter, its paper brittle, and a tiny vial of pigment, its color a deep rose. The letter was in French, faded but legible. Ellie leaned over, her voice urgent. "Beyonce, this is it. A clue to the painting's origin." Before she could read further, footsteps echoed above. A figure descended, and Beyonce's breath caught. Jake Mercer, his grin gone, his eyes hard. "You're persistent, Knowles Carter," he said, his voice cold. "But you're too late." Beyonce stood, her voice steel. "Jake, you son of a bitch. You set us up at Vincent's. Why?" Jake's jaw tightened, his tone bitter. "You think I wanted this? The Order's got leverage, Beyonce. They own people, even me. I didn't have a choice." Sofia's voice was fire. "No choice? You led us into a trap, Mercer. People got hurt. Jake's eyes flickered with guilt, but he stepped closer. I'm here to warn you. The painting's not in the vault. It's with Vincent, and he's moving it tonight. You want it? You deal with him. Beyonce's mind raced, the letter's words burning. The Madonna is a lie. What's that mean, Jake? The painting's a fake? Jake's laugh was hollow. Not a fake. Something worse. The order's protecting a secret, one that could ruin them. The painting's proof. But you'll never get it. Ellie's voice cut through, fierce. You're a coward, Jake. You could have fought them. Jake's face twisted, but before he could answer, a distant rumble shook the vault. Dust fell, and Sophia grabbed Beyonce's arm. Bae, we need to move. Now. They ran, Jake trailing, the staircase trembling. Outside, the chapel's ruins were surrounded, black vans circling. The order. Beyonce's heart pounded, the letter and vial in her pocket, Jake's words a new wound. The painting was a lie, and Vincent had it. As they slipped into the woods, a figure watched from the vans, their phone glowing with a message, the vault is empty. Find her. The woods outside the ruined chapel swallowed Beyonce and her crew, their footsteps muffled by damp leaves and the weight of Jake Mercer's betrayal. The letter and vial from the vault were tucked in her jacket, their secrets, the Madonna is a lie, burning in her mind. Vincent Roche had the twin painting, and the Order of the Veil was closing in, their vans circling like wolves. Beyonce's breath was sharp, her pulse a drumbeat, but her focus was iron. Sofia Alvarez stayed close, her eyes scanning the dark, her humor a faint ember. Ellie DuPont stumbled behind, her glasses fogged, her guilt a shadow. Jake, despite his confession, trailed them, his presence a splinter Beyonce couldn't shake. Sophia's voice was a hiss, her breath clouding. Bae, we can't keep dragging Jake along. He's a liability, and those vans aren't giving up. Beyonce's jaw tightened, her eyes cutting to Jake. You're right, Sophia. But he knows Vincent's next move. We use him, then cut him loose. Jake's voice was low, his grin long gone. I'm not your enemy, Knowles Carter. The order's got me by the throat, but I'm trying to make this right. Ellie's tone was ice. Right? You led us into a trap, Mercer. Claire's gone because of you. Beyonce raised a hand, her voice firm. Enough. Jake, you said Vincent's moving the painting tonight. Where? No games. Jake's eyes flicked away, then back. A masquerade ball, his estate in Versailles. It's a cover. The painting's being handed off to a buyer, someone high up in the order. You want it, you crashed the party. Beyonce's mind raced. A masquerade. Masks, secrets, a perfect stage for Vincent's games. How do we get in? That's not a +1 kind of night. Jake's lips twitched, a ghost of his old swagger. I've got a way. A contact owes me a favor. She'll slip us invites. But you'll need to play the part, Beyonce. No spotlight, no superstar. Sophia snorted, her spark flickering. Play the part? Bae's a whole galaxy. But I'll work some magic, get us looking like we belong. Beyonce nodded, her resolve hardening. Do it, Sophia. We're ending this tonight. Versailles glowed under a bruised sky, Vincent's estate a sprawl of gold and shadow. Chandeliers cast light through towering windows, music spilling into the night. Beyonce stepped from the car, her black mask glittering with obsidian beads, her gown a cascade of midnight silk. Sophia, in emerald velvet, wore a feathered mask, her eyes sharp. Ellie, in silver, seemed to shrink behind her mask, her nerves raw. Jake, in a plain tux, his mask simple, kept his distance, his guilt a visible weight. The ballroom was a sea of masked faces, their whispers sharp with intrigue. Beyonce moved through the crowd, her presence muted but commanding, her eyes scanning for Vincent. The letter's words haunted her, the Madonna is a lie. Was the painting a forgery, a cover, or something deeper? She needed it, needed the truth it held. Sophia leaned close, her voice a whisper. This place is giving me chills, Bey. Everyone's hiding something. Beyonce's lips curved, her tone low. That's the point, Sophia. Keep your eyes open. Vincent's here, and so's the painting. A figure approached, his mask crimson, his smile too familiar. Vincent Roche, his voice smooth as venom. Miss Knowles Carter, you never cease to surprise. A masquerade suits you. Beyonce matched his smile, her voice honeyed but sharp. Vincent, always a pleasure. I hear you're moving something special tonight. Care to share? Vincent's eyes gleamed, his tone playful. You're chasing ghosts, Beyonce. But since you're here, enjoy the dance. You might find what you're looking for. He leaned closer, his voice dropping. Or it might find you. He slipped away, leaving a chill in his wake. Beyonce's pulse quickened, her eyes catching a guarded door at the ballroom's edge. Guards stood watch, their hands on radios. The painting was close, she could feel it. Ellie's voice was urgent, her mask slipping. Beyonce, we need to move. If Vincent knows we're here, the order does too. Before Beyonce could respond, a figure in a gold mask brushed past, their hands slipping a note into her palm. She unfolded it, her breath catching, the painting leaves at midnight. Stop it, or the truth dies. Her eyes darted to the crowd, but the figure was gone. Sophia's voice was tight. Bey, what's that? Beyonce showed her the note, her mind racing. A warning. We've got less than an hour. Jake, where's the handoff? Jake's face was grim, his voice low. Upstairs, Vincent's private gallery. But it's locked tight, and the guards aren't amateurs. Beyonce's resolve was steel. Then we make a scene. Sophia, Ellie, stir up some chaos. Jake, you're with me. Sophia grinned, her spark flaring. Chaos? Now that's my language. She grabbed Ellie, pulling her toward the dance floor. Moments later, a tray of glasses crashed, drawing shouts and eyes. The guards shifted, distracted. Beyonce and Jake slipped upstairs, the gallery's door looming. Jake picked the lock, his hands steady despite the tension. Inside, the twin painting glowed under soft light, its Madonna staring, her eyes alie. Beyonce's heart pounded, but a sound stopped her, footsteps. Vincent stepped from the shadows, his mask gone, his smile cold. You're predictable, Beyonce. The painting's bait. The real prize is you. Jake's voice was sharp. Back off, Roche. She's not alone. Vincent laughed, his eyes on Beyonce. Alone or not, you're out of time. The order's coming, and they don't negotiate. Beyonce's grip on the vial tightened, her voice steady. Then we'll see who blinks first. As guards stormed the gallery, Beyonce's eyes locked on the painting. The truth was there, but so was the trap. The masquerade was over, and the real fight was just beginning. The gallery in Vincent Roche's Versailles estate pulsed with danger, the twin paintings Madonna staring down like a judge. Beyonce stood frozen, her heart hammering, the vial of pigment from Claire Moreau's vault gripped in her hand. Vincent's cold smile and the guards storming through the door pinned her in place. The anonymous note, the painting leaves at midnight. Stop it, or the truth dies, burned in her pocket, its deadline ticking down. Jake Mercer, at her side, tensed, his betrayal still a raw wound but his presence a grudging necessity. Downstairs, Sophia Alvarez and Ellie DuPont were stirring chaos, but the guards' radios crackled, signaling the order of the veil's tightening grip. The truth was close, but so was the endgame. Beyonce's voice cut through, steady despite the odds. Vincent, you talk a big game, but you're scared. That painting's more than art, isn't it? What's the order hiding? Vincent's smile didn't waver, his eyes glinting like a predator's. You're clever, Knowles Carter, but naive. The painting's a key, yes, but to a door you can't open. Walk away, or the order buries you. Jake's tone was sharp, his hands raised. She's not walking, Roche. You're out of moves. Vincent laughed, low and cruel. Am I? Look around, Mercer. You're the one who led her here, straight to me. Beyonce's stomach twisted, Jake's betrayal flaring anew, but she pushed it down. She stepped toward the painting, her voice firm. The letter in the vault said the Madonna's a lie. If it's a fake, why's the order so desperate to keep it? Vincent's face flickered, a crack in his armor. Not a fake. A revelation. But you'll never know, because you're not leaving this room. The guards advanced, their boots heavy on the polished floor. Beyonce's mind raced, the vial in her hand a lifeline. She glanced at Jake, a silent command. He nodded, diving for a guard, tackling him to the ground. Chaos erupted, fists flying, shouts echoing. Beyonce lunged for the painting, yanking it from the wall. It was heavier than she expected, its frame carved with faint knots, echoing the cipher. A guard grabbed her arm, but she twisted free, her training kicking in. She swung the painting, catching him across the jaw. He staggered, and she ran, Jake scrambling after her. The gallery's door loomed, but Vincent's voice stopped her, cold and precise. You take that, Beyonce, and you'll never stop running. She didn't look back, her boots pounding down the stairs. The ballroom below was a mess, Sophia and Ellie weaving through a crowd of masked guests, their distraction holding. Sophia's eyes widened as she saw Beyonce with the painting. Bae, you got it. Holy hell, let's go. Ellie's voice was frantic, her mask gone. The guards are everywhere. We need an exit, now. They bolted for a side door, the estate's gardens a maze of hedges and moonlight. Beyonce clutched the painting, its weight a promise and a curse. The letter's words, the Madonna is a lie, gnawed at her. Was it a forgery, a cover, or something deeper, tied to Claire's pain, to the Order's centuries-old secret? They reached a service gate, Sophia kicking it open with a grunt. Remind me to skip the next fancy party, she panted, her humor a thin shield. Jake's voice was grim, his face bruised. We're not clear yet. The Order's got eyes everywhere. Beyonce's phone buzzed, another anonymous text, you have it. Now choose, expose the lie, or protect the world. Her blood ran cold. The painting wasn't just a prize, it was a choice, one that could shatter the art world or keep its illusions intact. She shoved the phone away, her mind spinning. They slipped into a stolen van, Ellie at the wheel, her hands shaking but steady. The city blurred past, Versailles fading into Paris's grime. Beyonce stared at the painting, its Madonna's eyes haunting, the vial in her pocket a nagging question. Claire's warning, her sacrifice, it all pointed to this moment. But Vincent's words lingered, a door she couldn't open. Sophia's voice was soft, her eyes on Beyonce. Bae, you okay? You're holding that thing like it's gonna bite. Beyonce's lips twitched, but her voice was heavy. It might, Sophia. Claire said this painting's proof of a truth the Order buried. But what if exposing it hurts more than it helps? Ellie's voice was low, her eyes on the road. Claire knew Vincent, Beyonce. Not like I did, but deeper. She worked for the Order, years ago, before she ran. Whatever this painting hides, it broke her. Beyonce's heart twisted, Claire's pain a mirror to her own stakes. Then we owe her. We find out what this is, what it's worth. Jake, nursing a split lip, spoke up. The pigment in that vial, it's a clue. Test it, and you'll know if the painting's real or a plant. But Vincent's not done. He'll come for you. Beyonce nodded, her resolve hardening. The painting was hers, but the truth was a tightrope. As they ditched the van in a quiet alley, a new sound broke the night, a crackle of flames. They turned, spotting smoke rising from a nearby warehouse. Beyonce's gut clenched. The Order was burning something, maybe evidence, maybe Claire's last traces. Sophia's voice was tight. Bae, that's no accident. They're covering tracks. Beyonce's eyes burned, the painting heavy in her arms. The fire was a warning, the Order's reach endless. Claire's key, the vial, the letter, they were pieces of a truth she had to protect. But as the flames grew, so did her doubt. Was the Madonna lie worth saving, or a truth worth burning? The alley was a jagged slice of Paris, its walls slick with rain and secrets. Beyonce crouched behind a stack of crates, the twin painting wrapped in a tarp at her side, its Madonna's gaze a ghost in her mind. The warehouse fire still smoked in the distance, the Order of the Veil's latest move to erase their tracks. Claire Moreau's vial of pigment and the letter, "The Madonna is a lie," were tucked in her jacket, their weight heavier than the painting itself. Sofia Alvarez knelt beside her, her breath quick, her eyes scanning the dark. Ellie Dupont stood a few steps away, her glasses fogged, her hands trembling. Jake Mercer lingered at the alley's edge, his bruised face grim, his redemption a thin thread after his betrayal. The Order was close, their vans prowling, and Beyonce's choice, expose the truth or protect the illusion, loomed like a blade. Sofia's voice was a whisper, her humor strained. "Bae, this painting's gonna get us killed. You sure it's worth it?" Beyonce's jaw tightened, her fingers brushing the tarp. "It's not about the painting, Sofia. It's about what it hides. Claire died for this. We finish what she started." Ellie's voice was brittle, her eyes on the ground. Claire knew the Order better than anyone. If she said it's a lie, it's bigger than we thought. But Vincent's still out there, and he's not done. Jake's tone was low, his gaze flicking to the street. "He's right behind us, Beyonce. That fire was a distraction. The Order's flushing us out, and Vincent's calling the shots." Beyonce's mind raced, the vial's pigment a nagging clue. The letter's words, "The Madonna is a lie," suggested the painting was more than art, maybe a record of the Order's sins. But without the full cipher, stolen with Claire's sketchbook, the truth was locked away. "We need to test this pigment," she said, her voice steady. "If it's tied to the painting, it'll tell us what we're dealing with." Sofia's eyes widened, a spark returning. "Test it? Like, in a lab?" "Bae, we're dodging bullets, not playing CSI." Beyonce's lips twitched, Sofia's fire a lifeline. "Not a lab, Sofia. Ellie, you know restorers, people who can analyze this without asking questions. Where do we go?" Ellie hesitated, her voice soft. "There's a woman, Marcy, in Saint Germain. She's discreet, worked with Claire. But it's risky. The Order knows those circles." Beyonce nodded, her resolve iron. "Risky's all we've got. Let's move." Saint Germain hummed with late-night cafes, their lights warm but deceptive. Marcy's workshop was a cramped attic above a bookstore, its air thick with turpentine and dust. Marcy, a wiry woman with ink-stained hands, studied the vial under a magnifying lamp, her eyes sharp. "This pigment's old," she said, her French accent clipped. "Renaissance, maybe earlier. But it's mixed with something strange, not typical for the period." Beyonce leaned in, her pulse quickening. "Strange how? Is it tied to the painting?" Marcy's gaze flicked to the tarp-wrapped canvas. "Possibly. The painting's frame, those knots, they're not decorative. They're a cipher, part of a lock. This pigment might be a chemical key, meant to reveal something hidden." Ellie's voice was urgent, her glasses slipping. "Hidden like what? A message? Another painting?" Marcy's lips thinned, her tone grim. "Could be. But if it's tied to the Order, it's dangerous. Claire came to me once, years ago, with a similar pigment. She was terrified, said it was proof of a betrayal." Beyonce's heart twisted, Claire's ghost ever present. "What betrayal, Marcy? We're running out of time." Marcy hesitated, then pointed to the letter. "That's in Claire's hand, isn't it? Read it again. The answer's there." Beyonce unfolded the brittle paper, her voice low as she read, "The Madonna is a lie, painted to hide the truth. The Order guards it, but the crypt holds the final piece." Her breath caught. The crypt. Claire mentioned a crypt under Paris. That's where the truth is. Jake's voice was tense, his eyes on the door. "Then we need to find it, fast. Vincent's not sitting idle, and the order's closing in. Marcy nodded, handing back the vial. The crypt's real, but it's hidden. The pigment, the knots, they're your map. But be careful. Claire's fear wasn't just for herself. Before Beyonce could press further, a thud shook the attic door. Sophia's voice hissed, "Bae, we've got company." Marcy's face paled, her voice sharp. "Go, through the skylight. I'll stall them." Beyonce grabbed the painting, the vial, and the letter, her mind racing. "Marcy, come with us." Marcy's smile was grim. "I'm too old to run." "Save the truth, Knowles Carter." They scrambled onto the roof, the city sprawling below, its lights a false promise. The attic door splintered below, shouts echoing. Beyonce's pulse pounded, the crypt's promise pulling her forward. But Ellie's voice stopped her, raw and urgent. "Beyonce, I need to tell you something. About Vincent, about me." Beyonce turned, her eyes hard. "Now, Ellie? We're running for our lives." Ellie's voice broke, her glasses fogging. "I worked for the Order, years ago, with Claire. I didn't know what they were until it was too late. Vincent was my handler. I ran, but he never let me go." Beyonce's blood ran cold, the photo of Ellie with Vincent's mentor flashing in her mind. "You were one of them? And you didn't tell me?" Sophia's voice was fire, her eyes on Ellie. "Bae, she's been lying this whole time. We can't trust her." Ellie's tears fell, her voice desperate. "I'm trying to make it right, Beyonce. I'm here because I believe in you, in the truth. Please." Beyonce's heart warred, trust a shattered thing. But the crypt was close, and the truth closer. "You're with us, Ellie, but one wrong move, and you're done. Let's go." As they slipped across the rooftops, the crypt's shadow loomed. The painting, the vial, the letter, they were keys to a truth Claire died for. But the Order was steps behind, and Ellie's confession was a new crack in the foundation. In the distance, a figure watched, their phone glowing with a photo of the crypt's entrance, its door etched with the cipher's knot. The rooftops of Saint Germain glittered with rain, Paris sprawling below like a map of secrets. Beyonce moved fast, the twin painting strapped to her back, its tarp slick against her jacket. Claire Moreau's vial and letter, the Madonna is a lie, were tucked close, their weight a reminder of the crypt waiting beneath the city. Ellie Dupont's confession, her past with the Order of the Veil and Vincent Roche, was a fresh wound, trust now a threadbare thing. Sofia Alvarez kept pace, her eyes sharp, her loyalty a flicker of warmth in the cold. Jake Mercer trailed, his redemption shaky, his silence louder than his earlier betrayal. The Order's pursuit echoed in the distance, their vans prowling, their reach tightening. Sophia's voice was low, her breath clouding. "Bae, Ellie's story's got holes bigger than my last breakup. You sure we're keeping her close?" Beyonce's jaw clenched, her eyes scanning the rooftop's edge. "Not sure of anything, Sophia. But she knows the Order, knows Vincent. We need her, for now." Ellie's voice was raw, her glasses fogged. "I'm not hiding anything else, Beyonce. I swear, I'm here to stop them." Jake's tone was grim, his bruised face catching the moonlight. "Swearing's cheap, Dupont. The Order's got long arms, and you were one of them. How do we know you're not still playing their game?" Beyonce stopped, her voice steel. "Enough, Jake. You're not exactly a saint either. We're heading for the crypt. Ellie, you said Claire mentioned it. Where is it?" Ellie swallowed, her hands trembling. "It's under the old city, near the catacombs, but not the tourist paths. A hidden entrance, marked by the cipher's knot. Claire showed me once, years ago, before I ran." Sophia's eyes narrowed, her tone dry. "Great, more creepy tunnels. Bae, this feels like a trap, and I'm not loving our odds." Beyonce's lips twitched, Sophia's fire a spark in the dark. "Odds never stopped us, Sophia. We've got the painting, the vial, the letter. The crypt's the last piece. Let's move." The descent into the old city was a plunge into shadow, the air thick with damp stone and silence. The entrance was a cracked slab behind a forgotten church, its surface etched with the cipher's knot. Beyonce traced it, the vial's pigment glowing faintly in her hand, as if answering the stone. The slab shifted, revealing a tunnel, its walls carved with symbols that matched the painting's frame. They moved deeper, the painting's weight a constant pull. Beyonce's flashlight caught glints of ancient art, faded murals of Madonnas and saints, their eyes hollow. The letter's words haunted her, the crypt holds the final piece. Was it proof of the order's lie, a truth Claire died for? Her heart ached for Claire, for the cost of this chase. Ellie's voice broke the silence, soft but urgent. We're close. The crypt's a chamber, sealed by the cipher. The vial's pigment, it's part of the lock. Jake's eyes darted, his voice low. And if it's another order setup? We're walking blind, Beyonce. Before she could answer, a scrape echoed behind them. Beyonce froze, her pulse spiking. Footsteps, deliberate, closing in. She doused the flashlight, plunging them into dark. Sophia's hand found hers, a silent anchor. A voice cut through, sharp and familiar. You're predictable, Knowles Carter. Vincent Roche stepped into view, a lantern casting his face in harsh light. His smile was a blade, his suit pristine despite the tunnel's grime. The painting, the vial, hand them over. The order's done playing. Beyonce's grip on the painting tightened, her voice steady. You're outnumbered, Vincent. Walk away. Vincent laughed, cold. Outnumbered? Look again. A figure emerged beside him, masked, holding Claire's sketchbook. The cipher's knot gleamed on its cover, a taunt. Ellie's gasp was sharp, her voice breaking. No. It can't be. The figure removed their mask, revealing a face Beyonce hadn't expected, Marcy, the restorer from Saint Germain. Her eyes were hard, her tone flat. You trusted the wrong people, Beyonce. The order always wins. Sophia's voice was fire, her body tensing. Marcy? You sold us out? After Claire? Marcy's lips thinned, her gaze unwavering. Claire was weak. She ran. I chose to stay. Beyonce's heart sank, betrayal a familiar sting. You've got the sketchbook, Marcy. But you don't have the vial. You need me. Vincent's smile widened, his voice smooth. Do we? Give it up, or your friends pay the price. Ellie stepped forward, her voice fierce. No, Beyonce, don't. The crypt's close. We can still make it. Jake's hand twitched, his eyes on Vincent. She's right. Stall them, Beyonce. I've got this. Before she could react, Jake lunged, tackling Marcy. The sketchbook fell, skidding across the stone. Vincent shouted, drawing a gun, but Beyonce was faster, grabbing Sophia and Ellie, sprinting for the crypt. Gunshots cracked, echoing in the tunnel, but she didn't look back. They reached a chamber, its walls carved with the cipher's knot, a sealed door at its heart. Beyonce poured the vial's pigment into a carved groove, the stone glowing faintly. The door groaned, opening to reveal a pedestal, and on it, a small, ancient canvas. Not the twin painting, but something older, its colors faded, its figures blurred. Sophia's voice was a whisper, her eyes wide. Bae, what is that? Beyonce's breath caught, the letter's truth dawning. The final piece. The Madonna's lie, it's not the twin painting. It's this. Behind them, Vincent's shout echoed, closer now. Jake was gone, maybe caught, maybe dead. The crypt held the truth, but the order was here, and Beyonce's choice, protect or expose, was now a matter of survival. The crypt's air was thick, a cold that clung to Beyonce's skin as she stared at the ancient canvas on the pedestal. Its faded figures, barely visible, held a truth the Order of the Veil had buried for centuries. The twin painting, still strapped to her back, was a decoy, a lie to hide this relic. Claire Moreau's letter, "The Madonna is a lie," made sense now, its words a key to this moment. The vial's pigment had unlocked the crypt, but Vincent Roche's shouts echoed closer, his gunshots a reminder of the cost. Sofia Alvarez stood beside her, her breath quick, her eyes wide with awe and fear. Ellie DuPont clutched the wall, her glasses fogged, her past with the order a wound that bled into the present. Jake Mercer was gone, his tackle on Marcy a sacrifice that bought them seconds, but maybe not enough. Sophia's voice was a hiss, her humor buried. "Bae, that canvas, it's the real deal, isn't it? What the hell does it mean?" Beyonce's fingers brushed the canvas, its surface rough, its truth heavy. "It's what Claire died for, Sophia. Proof the order's been lying, rewriting history. We can't let Vincent take it." Ellie's voice was frantic, her eyes darting to the tunnel. "He's coming, Beyonce. The order won't stop. We need to get out, now." Beyonce's jaw tightened, her mind racing. The canvas was small, easy to carry, but the twin painting was bulky, a liability. Vincent's footsteps grew louder, his voice sharp with rage. "Knowles Carter, you're trapped. Give me the canvas, or you all die." Sophia's eyes flashed, her voice fierce. "Bae, we can't fight him here. He's got backup, and we're sitting ducks." Beyonce nodded, her resolve iron. "We're not fighting, Sophia. We're running. Grab the canvas, Ellie. I'll carry the twin. We use it as bait." Ellie hesitated, her hands trembling, but she snatched the canvas, tucking it under her coat. Beyonce hefted the twin painting, its weight a reminder of the order's deception. They bolted down a side tunnel, the crypt's walls closing in, their flashlights bouncing off carved knots. Vincent's shouts followed, his guards' boots pounding. The tunnel split, one path leading up, the other deeper. Beyonce paused, her breath ragged. "Ellie, which way?" "You've been here before, with Claire." Ellie's face was pale, her voice shaking. "Up. It leads to a sewer grate, near the Seine. But it's narrow, and Vincent's men will be close." Sophia's voice was tight, her eyes on Beyonce. "Bae, if we get caught, it's over. That canvas, it's everything." Beyonce's heart pounded, Claire's sacrifice fueling her. "Then we don't get caught. Move." The climb was brutal, the tunnel's walls slick, the air sour with decay. Beyonce's arms burned, the twin painting slowing her, but she pushed on, Sophia and Ellie ahead. Vincent's voice echoed, closer now, his lantern casting shadows that danced like ghosts. A gunshot cracked, the bullet grazing the wall near Sophia's head. She yelped, but kept running, her courage afire. They reached the grate, its iron rusted but solid. Beyonce dropped the painting, shoving her shoulder against the metal. It groaned, giving way just as Vincent appeared, his gun raised, his smile gone. "You're out of time, Beyonce." She spun, her voice steel. "You want the painting, Vincent? Take it." She kicked the twin painting toward him, its tarp sliding free, the Madonna's lie exposed. Vincent's eyes flicked to it, a moment's hesitation. It was enough. Beyonce grabbed Sophia and Ellie, pulling them through the grate. They tumbled into a stone drain, the Seine's roar nearby. Vincent's shout followed, but the grate slammed shut, his guards too bulky to follow fast. They ran, the canvas safe with Ellie, the city's pulse swallowing their steps. Beyonce's mind churned, the canvas's truth a weight she couldn't yet grasp. Was it a lost artist, a stolen legacy, a scandal the order buried? Claire's pain, Marcy's betrayal, Jake's sacrifice, they all pointed here. Sophia panted, her voice raw. "Bae, we made it, but what now? That canvas, it's gonna change everything." Beyonce's eyes burned, her resolve unshaken. "We find out what it says, Sophia. The order's not done, but neither are we." Ellie's voice was soft, her guilt heavy. "Beyonce, I'm sorry. My past, the order, I should have told you sooner. But I'm with you, till the end." Beyonce studied her, trust a fragile thing, but Ellie's eyes held truth. "Prove it, Ellie. Help me read this canvas." They found a safe house, a dingy flat in Belleville, its walls peeling but secure. Beyonce unwrapped the canvas, its figures clearer under a lamp. A woman, not a Madonna, painted with defiance, her eyes alive. Below, faint text in Latin, barely legible. Ellie's breath caught, her voice a whisper. It's a name, Beyonce. A woman erased from history, her work stolen by the order. Before she could say more, a crash shook the door. Vincent's voice, cold and triumphant, cut through. You can't hide, Knowles Carter. The canvas is mine. Beyonce's heart stopped, the safe house no longer safe. The canvas was the truth, but Vincent was the endgame. As the door splintered, she grabbed Sophia and Ellie, her voice fierce. We fight, or we lose everything. The Belleville safe house was a trap now, its peeling walls closing in as Vincent Roche's voice sliced through the splintering door. Beyonce gripped the ancient canvas, its faded woman, not a Madonna, but a defiant artist erased by the order of the veil, staring back with eyes that demanded justice. The Latin text below, naming her, was a truth Claire Moreau died for, a secret the order buried for centuries. Sofia Alvarez stood ready, her fists clenched, her loyalty afire in the dim light. Ellie DuPont, her glasses fogged, clutched Claire's letter, her past with the order a weight she'd finally shed. The twin painting, left behind in the crypt, was a decoy, but this canvas was the heart of the conspiracy, and Vincent wanted it at any cost. Sophia's voice was sharp, her eyes on the door. Bae, we're cornered. That door's not holding, and Vincent's got muscle. What's the play? Beyonce's pulse pounded, her mind razor-sharp. We don't run, Sophia. Not this time. The canvas is the truth, and we're ending this. Ellie, can you decode that text? We need to know what we're fighting for. Ellie nodded, her voice steady despite the chaos. It's a name, Artemisia, a Renaissance painter. Her work was stolen, claimed by men the order propped up. This canvas proves it, proves they rewrote history. Beyonce's heart twisted, Claire's pain echoing. Then we protect it. Sophia, block the window. Ellie, hide the canvas. I'll deal with Vincent. The door buckled, Vincent's guards storming in, their faces hard, their guns raised. Vincent followed, his suit pristine, his smile ablade. Knowles Carter, you're out of moves. Give me the canvas, and I might let you walk. Beyonce stepped forward, her voice steel. You're not getting it, Vincent. Artemisia's truth comes out, and the order falls. You're the one who's done. Vincent's eyes narrowed, his tone cold. You think one painting changes anything? The order's bigger than you, bigger than history. Hand it over, or your friends bleed. Sophia's voice was fire, her body tensing. Try it, Roche. You're not as untouchable as you think. Ellie's voice cut through, fierce. He's bluffing, Beyonce. The order needs the canvas hidden, not destroyed. They're scared. Vincent's smile faltered, a crack in his armor. Beyonce seized it, her voice low. Scared, Vincent? Of a woman's truth? Artemisia's work, Claire's fight, they're bigger than your lies. A guard lunged, but Beyonce was faster, ducking and slamming her elbow into his jaw. Sophia tackled another, her street smarts shining. Ellie, surprisingly, swung a chair, catching a guard's knees. The room erupted, fists and shouts, the canvas hidden under a loose floorboard, safe for now. Beyonce faced Vincent, her breath ragged but her eyes burning. You lose, Vincent. The canvas is gone, and I'm telling the world. Vincent's gun raised, his voice a snarl. You're nothing, Beyonce. A singer playing hero. The order owns history. A crash interrupted, the window shattering. Jake Mercer, bloodied but alive, swung in, his eyes wild. Not today, Roche. He tackled Vincent, the gun skidding across the floor. Beyonce dove for it, her hands steady, pointing it at Vincent's chest. Jake panted, his voice rough. Beyonce, I'm sorry. I had to make it right. Marcy's down, but the order's still coming. Vincent laughed, even pinned. You think this ends it? The orders everywhere. You'll never be safe. Beyonce's finger tightened on the trigger, her heart warring. Killing him would be easy, but not right. She lowered the gun, her voice cold. You're not worth it, Vincent. But the world's gonna know Artemisia's name. She nodded to Sophia, who yanked Vincent's arms behind him, tying them with a curtain cord. Ellie retrieved the canvas, her eyes shining. Beyonce, we did it. Claire would be proud. The safe house was a wreck, guards groaning, Vincent silent. Beyonce's phone buzzed, a final anonymous text, you've won this battle, but the war's not over. Her blood chilled, but she deleted it, her resolve unshaken. The canvas was hers, Artemisia's truth alight in the dark. They slipped out, the city waking around them. Jake limped, his redemption costly but real. Sophia's arm looped through Beyonce's, her voice soft. Bae, you're a damn legend. But what now? The order's not gonna stop. Beyonce's eyes traced the canvas, Artemisia's defiance a mirror to her own. We tell the world, Sophia. Museums, journalists, anyone who'll listen. The order's lies end here. Ellie's voice was quiet, her guilt easing. I'll help, Beyonce. I owe Claire that much. As they vanished into Paris's dawn, a figure watched from a rooftop, their phone glowing with a new message, the canvas is lost. Find another way. The order was wounded, but not dead. Beyonce knew it, felt it in her bones. The truth was out, but the fight was far from over. Paris woke slowly, its dawn a soft bruise over the Seine. Beyonce stood on a quiet bridge, the ancient canvas, Artemisia's truth, proof of the order of the Veil's centuries-old lie, tucked safely in a leather satchel at her side. The fight in the Belleville safe house had left her bruised, her heart heavy with Claire Moreau's sacrifice and the order's lingering shadow. Vincent Roche was in custody, his empire cracked, but the final anonymous text, the canvas is lost. Find another way, whispered of a larger war. Sofia Alvarez leaned against the railing, her eyes tired but warm, her loyalty a constant. Ellie DuPont stood a step away, her glasses polished, her guilt replaced by quiet resolve. Jake Mercer, battered but alive, kept his distance, his redemption a fragile gift. Sophia's voice broke the silence, her humor a faint spark. Bae, we did the impossible. Took down Vincent, got the canvas. So why do you look like you're carrying the world? Beyonce's lips curved, her gaze on the river. Because it's not over, Sophia. Artemisia's truth is out, but the order's still out there. Claire gave everything for this, and I'm wondering what it cost us. Ellie's voice was soft, her eyes on the canvas. It cost Claire her life, Beyonce. But she believed in you, in this. We expose Artemisia's story, and the order's lies crumble. Jake's tone was low, his bruises stark in the light. They won't crumble easy, Ellie. The order's got roots deeper than Vincent. You share that canvas, you're painting a target on your back. Beyonce's jaw tightened, her fingers brushing the satchel. The canvas held Artemisia's name, her stolen work, a woman erased by men the order propped up. It was more than art, it was a reckoning, a truth that could rewrite history. But Jake was right, the order wasn't done. The ciphers not, Claire's vial, the twin painting, they were pieces of a larger puzzle, one that stretched beyond Paris. She turned to her crew, her voice steady. We've got the canvas, and we're telling the world. Museums, scholars, journalists, anyone who'll listen. But we do it smart, no mistakes. The order's watching. Sophia's eyes lit up, her spark flaring. Smart's my middle name, Bae. I know a guy, runs an art blog with serious reach. We start there, get the word out, make Artemisia's name untouchable. Ellie nodded, her voice firm. I've got contacts in academia, Beyonce. Curators who'll verify the canvas, no questions asked. We can protect it, make it public. Jake's grin was faint, his eyes wary. And I've got a network, reporters who'll eat this up. But we need to move fast. The Order's already planning their next play. Beyonce's heart swelled, their unity a shield against the doubt. Then we move now. Sophia, set up the blog drop. Ellie, reach your curators. Jake, get your reporters ready. We're not just exposing the Order, we're giving Artemisia her voice back. The day blurred into action, Paris's pulse a backdrop to their plan. Sophia's contact posted a teaser, a photo of the canvas with a cryptic caption, "History's been lying." Her name is Artemisia. Ellie's curators confirmed the canvas's age, their excitement crackling through hurried calls. Jake's reporters sniffed a scandal, their articles primed to hit global newsstands. Beyonce watched it unfold, her phone buzzing with updates, her mind on Claire, on the cost of truth. By nightfall, the story broke, Artemisia's name trending, the Order's lies exposed in headlines. Beyonce stood in a small gallery, the canvas displayed under soft light, its defiant woman staring out. Curators and journalists milled, their whispers a tide of awe and outrage. Sophia nudged her, her voice warm. "Bae, you did it." Claire's smiling somewhere. Beyonce's eyes stung, her voice low. "We did it, Sophia. But it's not the end." The Order's quiet, too quiet. Ellie approached, her face softer now. "You gave Claire justice, Beyonce. And me, a chance to make things right. Whatever comes next, I'm with you." Jake lingered by the door, his eyes scanning the crowd. "They'll come, Beyonce. Maybe not tonight, but soon. You ready for that?" Beyonce's resolve was iron, her gaze on Artemisia's canvas. "Let him come, Jake. I've faced worse." As the gallery emptied, a note slipped under the door, its paper crisp, its words chilling, "Artemisia's truth is yours, but the Order's secrets run deeper. Watch the shadows." Beyonce's breath caught, the enigma's end not an end at all. She tucked the note away, her heart steady. The canvas was safe, Artemisia's name restored, but the Order's shadow loomed, a story unfinished. She stepped into the night, Sophia, Ellie, and Jake at her side, Paris a city of light and lies. The truth was out, but the war was just beginning. Somewhere, a figure watched, their phone dark, their next move already in motion. Thank you for listening to these incredible stories. Our team would really appreciate it if you give us a like and comment. Your opinion is very important to us. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed.